A big topic and problem of mine is alcohol. Alcohol in missions, foreign missions of the Austrian army, for example in Kosovo, Kfor. When you follow my videos, you will know that there are many alcoholics, people who really need alcohol in the missions, especially in Kfor and Kfor. In Lebanon, what I heard, that the alcoholics were all sent home when the bombs drop in the camp. So there was no alcohol allowed anymore in Lebanon, what I heard. And then the alcoholics were sent home from the military or they went on free will. So alcohol is killing more humans than probably Ebola or the Hunter virus. During my nearly 25 years, of course, when I was young I drank also. I also had my beers. I also was drunk when I was younger. In the missions, rarely. Maybe once a year I was drunk. But yeah, everybody drinks sometimes, of course. That's normal. You need it maybe or not. But I talk about the people who need it like water, who are drinking beer like water, who need Bacardi, cola, whiskey, who need it. Without that, they are not workable, they are not functional. I talk about this kind of alcoholics, and there are many in the missions, many. They need help, they should need help, they should get help, but they shouldn't be sent in the mission in the first place. Because you cannot tell me that the doctors in the hospital in Stammersdorf cannot see if he's an alcoholic or not. I mean, they made blood tests, blood work, but you can manipulate the blood work when you drink some specific stuff. You can manipulate the drug work, you can maybe manipulate also the heart rate, but when I talk with a doctor, he must see if this guy is alcoholic. Also the typical paymaster we have in the missions, mostly alcoholic, completely alcoholic, usually not capable to do anything military-wise. Maybe good at accounting, yes, but not able to defend anybody. Even some people cannot even walk. They are so drunk and the body destroyed that they're incapable of doing physical stuff. These guys we have also in a mission, and some of these guys didn't even have to go through the tests we usually have to make. We have to make physical, mental and running stuff usually, but some guys, they have nothing. They were sent without any of this to the missions. What I heard, because even they have connections or these positions had to be filled and they cannot find someone else. So they rather fill it with an alcoholic, then there would nobody on this position. So this is why there are so many alcoholics in the missions. So the typical Kosovo alcoholic, they drink also during the days. We are allowed to drink alcohol from 1730 till 2400 usually in this time span. But some of these guys are drinking during the daytime. They go in the room and take a snip of a Stamperl alcohol or something, so they're on it already. And you can see it. When you live together like rats, like we are, you can see it. You see stuff. I was always shutting my mouth. I was never a snitch, but now I am, because payback is a freaking bitch. In the mission in Kfor, it's not allowed to have alcohol at the room. It's only allowed to have it in the Öhof where I was working, in the small pub. No alcohol allowed in the room, but those people have alcohol in their rooms and nobody gives a shit. They have beer, they have schnapps in their rooms and nobody cares. Because alcohol, if you're an alcoholic, you have a good life in the army, because you don't scratch the balls of the commander because you are afraid that he knows that you are an alcoholic and send you home, or you are afraid that he finds your beer in your fridge. So you shut your mouth, you are an Waschkraller, and you do what he's saying because you know he has the power to send the alcoholics home. So this is why it's the most easy to work with, because they are Waschkraller, because they need the alcohol and they need to sympathize from the commander. The opposite of me, basically. But you're asking, hey Joe, but who is sending these people without any medical certificate or any running or any psychotest? Now I think you need the psychotest. The psychotest is a must. Yeah, psycho is a must, but the other two things they can send. Hey Joe, why are you sending this? Why are these people sent to the missions? This you have to ask Graz. Graz Direction 4 will tell you exactly why these kind of people are sent into the missions. And there's also a loophole where active duty soldiers without anything can send to the missions for 28 days. They go home for a few days, go back for 28 days. This is only for active soldiers who have no physical or mental test. They can send for 28 days. It's kind of a loophole. But for this you have to ask Graz. For everything you have to ask Graz. So the psychos are okay with alcohol in the missions. The Americans back in the day were not allowed to drink 1 drop of alcohol. Nowadays I think in Kosovo they're allowed to drink, but back then no drop of alcohol for American soldiers in the missions. My American friends tell me if this is right or not. And sometimes these alcoholics don't have a driver license, but the job description says you have to have a driver license because you have to drive there and there, you have to do this and that. But some alcoholics don't even have licenses to drive, so then the Gefreiter have to drive. The Gefreiter, the corporal, has to drive for the drunk Vizeleutnant. So it's a red tail. It's a red tail which goes down the shitter to the lowest rank. And mostly the Gefreiter is the most gefickter, we say. But don't get me wrong, they're not just alcoholics in the mission. There are also some super sports guy, war-fit soldiers who can really fight and use their weapons. For example, the military police. Most of the guys of the MP, it's called now multinational military police, whatever. They are super fit and they know how the guns work, they know what to do. And usually they also don't drink too much when they're off duty. But military police, some guys of the Rekakoi, some guys like me, it's like militia who really trains good, but there are also some good soldiers in the missions. It's not just the bad stuff. I talk about the bad stuff because I get more clicks when I talk about bad things. So let's talk about Lady Boy, because people want to know Lady Boy. But you're asking, hey Joe, how can they afford this alcohol? Because when they drink so much, easy. The alcohol, the beer, is sent to the missions. It was sent to the missions with the Hercules. And still we had planes, the C-130. They flight in the beer in tons. First in barrels and then in cans. And why do I know this? Because I ordered a lot of beer for the soldiers when I was Öhof chef. So the beer was coming with the airplane and then with the LKW, with the trucks. So the beer will be shipped on taxpayers' money to the soldiers because they like the beer, they want the beer, they need the beer. So they're sending, of course, Austrian beer, Punti Gösser Zipfer, Punti 0.5 liter, Gösser Zipfer 0.33 liters, the smaller cans and the bigger cans to the camp, because the Austrian soldiers, sometimes they come from the northern part of Austria, of the west part of Austria, and every part of Austria has his favorite beer. So we have 3 options of this beer. They wanted more options, they also wanted Stiegl, but Stiegl I declined when I was the boss in Öhof. The last prices of the beer was 60 cents for the Punti and 50 cents for the Zipfer and Gösser. 1-2 years ago it was even 10 cents more cheap. They started with 30 cents and 40 cents, then 50, 40 and 50, and they went up always 10 cents. And when you increase the beer price, Skandal, Katastrophe, the beer costs now 10 cents more, 10 cents. Imagine you drink a pint, you drink half a liter beer, now in Austria you pay 6 euro, 5, 6 euro, 7 euro, and down there you got it for 60 cents. 60 cents. 10 beer, 5 liters of beer costed you 6 euro. So paradise for alcoholics. Freaking fucking paradise, alcoholic paradise in a mission. In a freaking mission. And this beer, the prices, check out what 1 hour with the Hercules costs. 30,000-40,000 euro, 1 flight hour, and they're sending this beer, this Austrian beer, to the missions. On every mission. Libanon, Kosovo and Kfor, they were sending the beer with the plane, then they sent it with the trucks. Because there was no plane no more. Because they were so freaking old. They were so freaking old. Yeah. Our military is war fit for 2032. Or will be. The alcoholics liked it there because they earn a lot of money, because you get a lot of money in the military, and the beer is very cheap. So paradise. And what does it help? Does this help an alcoholic who already needs the alcohol? No, it does not help the alcohol. And the other beer prices in the camp were also not too expensive. €1 for Heineken or €2 for Heineken. But in the Austrian bar, it was 50, 60 cents or even cheaper, which is unbelievable prices, And then the Dosen Fund came, which is a can deposit. Now Austria, because our smart politicians, they are so smart, they made now on all cans a can deposit. So 25 cents on every can. This means the beer also added 25 cents to the can. And this is why they did not send the beer, Austrian beer anymore to the missions. They tried to send some export beer, but it didn't last that long. Why I know it? Because I worked there. I know it. I saw it. And then there was the große Aufschrei, the Skandal, no Austrian beer anymore, because the Alki, the Spritti, we call them Spritti, Alki, they want the Austrian beer. But now they have to drink the Kosovo-Mission beer, the Peja, it's called Peja from Patch. Also a good beer. Now they are used to it. But when there was no Austrian beer, a Skandal, it was brutal. It was, how can there be no Austrian beer? We need to try. They even tried some illegal stuff. They wanted to try illegal stuff to get the beer via Macedonia or via Kosovo. They wanted to try. They tried so hard to get the beer in the missions. You can't believe it. Talking about beer in a military mission abroad. And I'm the jeopardy for the reputation of the Austrian army. I'm not the beer guys, not the alcoholics, because you walk around the camp, other soldiers see how you look like, what you're doing. They see the Slovakian guys, the Polish guys, the big guys, you know, these are like Rambos. And we, the alcoholics, you see how they look like, how they walk, how fat they are, no sport, they are like this. Some soldiers are like this, they have a Wampen, You can't believe it. No military in the world would use this guy, but we use them because there is no other. There is no other with the specification whatever he can do or not do. So we have the fat guys. We have the I cannot even walk 1 kilometer guys. We have the I cannot run for 2 kilometers without dying. These guys we have because we are letting alcoholics in the missions. Yeah. The fucking truth, my friends. And I was okay, I was swimming, but I tried to enhance my fitness, mental fitness, physical fitness. I try to enhance it, but I'm the jeopardy for the reputation of the Austrian army. Genau mein Humor. Yeah, to wrap the story up, in my opinion, alcoholics has nothing to search in a mission. Guys who drink now and then some beer, yeah, okay, we need the beer. Austrians need beer. If you drink some beer, it's fine. But if you're drunk, fat, drunk, unable to walk, you have nothing to search in an abroad mission, even for Kosovo. I mean, Kosovo is a mission, but there's nothing happening down there. There is no action there. This is like you sitting at home in a barrack in Austria, the same thing. Wir verwalten uns selber. We're just working for ourselves. There is no output of this mission. It's just a waste of taxpayers' money. Yes, I got the taxpayers' money. Thank you very much. I got it. But I got fucked now in my ass as well. So the Kfor missions, there's nothing there. We are useless. We're just burning taxpayers' money. But that's it now. If you're an alcoholic, Prost. If you are a sports guy, yes, run with Joe X. And if you're a knife guy, probably you know it. When you know the Joe X channel, you know this blade, the Jackalope from Exodus knife from Jacob B. Peterson. And as you can know, they also took my knife at the weapons ban. They took my knife before they sent me home, but I got them back. They're always taking my blades, but they're not taking this blade from me. Bye!